welcome back to Sci-Fi Tech. In this video, I want to do a teardown of this studio microphone. I want to see how it works, and I want to see if there's any parts of salvaging. Let's get started. First, what I want to do is remove these knobs and remove the microphone from its stand. These knobs are potentially useful, put those to the side. And there, I have the microphone. Remove the cover because I can reuse that for something else. And now, do what I always do, see a screw, take a screw, see a screw, take a screw, and remove all of the screws that I can find. Now what I need to do is remove these two screws that are on the front. Before I do that, I want to go and pull these knobs off. Not very easy to do, so I'm going to use these pliers to pull them off. This button right here is very interesting because it has some clear acrylic which can push a button and have an LED shine through it. That's very interesting. Definitely want to keep that. And now there's some knobs on the back. Remove those too. And there, all the knobs are now removed. Now it's time to go ahead and unscrew it. And now, of course, see a screw, take a screw, see a screw, take a screw, and remove all of the screws that I could find. There's also a hidden screw underneath this boom mic socket. Remove this piece of plastic, and there, it reveals a screw. And now simply unscrew it, and there, all of the screws are now removed. Simply pull it. I guess I didn't loosen it enough, so loosen it some more. There we go, screw is now removed, and there, the circuit just falls right out. This is a very nice and very interesting circuit. There are a lot of potential components that are worth salvaging. This crystal oscillator that is a 12 MHz crystal oscillator is potentially very useful. I can probably use that for something. There's also a potentiometer that has a bunch of different connections, a bunch of surface mount components that are worth salvaging. Some of these little microcontrollers, I have to look up the data sheet and see if I can use them. This little potentiometer is very nice, I can definitely use that. Another potentiometer, very useful. And this big potentiometer, that can be very useful because it's a switching potentiometer. All I have to do is just turn it on to different positions. Although I don't know if it's a potentiometer, I can probably call it a rotating switch. This rotating switch I can definitely use for something. Place this button onto it so it's easier to turn, and as you can see I can rotate it so that way I could be able to turn on different components or different circuits or different connections, which can be very useful. This right here is a headphone jack, definitely can use that for something. This device has a very big microphone, I'm very curious to see how that works. I'll remove these 4 screws so that way I can have access to those microphones, because I'm curious to see how that works, because it looks like right here there are 3 little connections and it has 3 little microphones. How very interesting. Inside of this housing it has some kind of foam cover, allowing it to have clean, smooth sound. So having the foam that's in the inside and the foam on the outside allows you to have very clean, nice sound. Okay, so I'll put that to the side because I could probably use it. Disconnect these 3 connectors. And there, the 3 microphones are now removed. And these are very nice microphones. And you can see that they're orientated in different directions, allowing the microphone to be able to pick up in different directions or surround directions. When allowing all 3 of the microphones work together, you can have maybe 2 microphones or just 1 microphone functioning, or have all 3 of them functioning together. That's a very interesting feature that this microphone has. And this circuit contains a lot of interesting components, so what I want to do is remove the screws and go a little deeper. And remove this metal frame. And there, the screws are now removed and the circuits come apart just like this. And this metal frame is potentially useful, but I think I'll just throw it away. And this is how I can desolder those components. Just simply desolder right here and pull the component out. But I find that to be very interesting how this device works. And here are all of the parts that I've salvaged that I found most interesting and that is worth keeping. This foam right here and this top of the microphone right here are potentially useful in case I want to rebuild this microphone with a different circuit, and these little microphones will attach to that different circuit possibly. And then these buttons are very useful, I could possibly use these for other projects. Especially this little button right here, I find that to be very interesting because it connects to that little LED switch, which I might actually use that LED switch and connect it to it. so that way the switch can light up and turn on and off. These little knobs also very useful, and these little screw knobs, those I could possibly use for something else as well. And these components that are on these circuits are also very useful. So what I'm going to do is just simply keep these components onto the circuit board. And also these little potentiometers are also very useful. Definitely want to do something with these, especially this little turn switch. This little stand right here that holds the microphone, I find it to be very interesting. I could possibly use this for something, not really sure, but I just like the way the design looks. I might just throw it away, or I might use it for something. Not really sure, but it can be useful, since it seems very strong and sturdy. And there you have it. Now you know what's inside of a studio microphone, how it works, and what kind of components that are worth salvaging. Thank you for watching Sci High Tech. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and of course click on the bell icon to be notified of future Sci High Tech videos. To the next tech, goodbye.